Chapter 9. The Way of Divine Beauty. There are some temperaments which will find it almost impossible to take up this path of introspective self-analysis. Unfortunately, but not unnaturally, their minds are not built in a way that will permit them to hold their thoughts to such a topic. What then are they to do? The way out of this difficulty is for the student unattached to any personal teacher is to begin by yielding himself deliberately to the rhythm of inspired works of art, or by cultivating exalted moods induced in the presence of nature's beauty, and by widening the feelings of veneration whenever they sufface the soul through such external agencies. A picture by a master hand, a poem by one who is sensitive to the spiritual side of life, the playing of a violin by a genius like Kreisler, a walk through a gaunt, leafless woods in autumn, a contemplation of the glint of June sunshine upon the honeysuckle, or the sight of an old church in the waning light of the western sun. These things may move him to fine feelings of a kind which the ordinary activities of life do not usually call forth. There is a spiritual power in these moments which we remember long after they are gone. Rightly used, they can become as Jacob's ladders leading from earth to heaven. I have written elsewhere that today the inspired artist is taking up the burdens of the priest, through becoming the instrument of what aspect of the higher power which reveals itself to man as beauty. The artist, the writer, and the musician incarnates himself into his work, and if he is blessed at times with lofty inspirations, if he has striven to sound spiritual notes in the art of his time, if he has sat at the feet of divine beauty of true wisdom, then in the degree to which you yield yourself up to his influence shall you share those inspirations with him. In every person's life there exist certain moments when the effect of art or nature is to produce an indefinable sense of great calm, or a flowing tide of bliss which overwhelms him. What lies behind such ecstatic moments? These are the moments in a man's life when he stands at the gate of the spirit, though he know it not. In the presence of some grand scene of nature, he is unconsciously reminded of his true spiritual home. So grand, so beautiful is it. He loves the bright clouds in the sky and the golden sunsets, peaceful woodlands and calm lakes, because they remind him of his spiritual origin. Beauty speaks to him with these voices and says, "This grandeur is what you should attain inwardly." They are voices calling to him from his spiritual home. Sometimes, as in listening to deeply inspiring music, to the noble melodies of Bach or the pure strains of Mozart, for instance, or gazing on some mountain scene, he receives hints of a higher life for man. Music, being the most direct of all the fine arts, provides the truest medium of spiritual expression. But alas, he knows not the august nature of his visitants, and they tremble away. If he had the leisure and desire to attend to the fine thoughts which troop after a moment of awe and wonder, even the average man will gradually become illumined. For all the fine art is but a symbol leading to a shrine of golden fire. All inscribed inspirations are but the flimsy veils which cover the naked body of truth. Those who try to gather in their minds the world's harvest of printed beauty and wisdom are moved to do so by an instinct that comes from afar. For when the eyes gaze upon the page written with literary art and shimmering with golden spiritual thoughts, a mysterious sense will be felt confirming that which is read. When you approach the house of a really inspired scribe or musical composer and enter his room, you see no mere study, but a veritable alchemist's workshop. Is he not the lonely magician who sits amid Olympian ways and watches the panorama of life as one apart? What is his pen but a wand of thaumaturgic power that invokes a hidden world of unexpected splendor before our profane eyes? Are not the writings what cover his table mysterious papyri that embalm the sacred words of communion with the higher realm? When he takes up the pen and wields it as a magic wand, casting it about our atmosphere and changing the heavy night that covers us into the growing dawn, he becomes, if only for a little while, a potent wizard of those old. The magicians of those such times sought by a wave of the wand to bring men to see such things as they desired them to see. They touched a seed and it became a tree, or wrapped the cloak of invisibility around themselves. But now we have put aside such clumsy effects and seek to place subtle spells upon the mind of man with nothing more mysterious than a humble pen. I have read books that filled my mind with golden images of such strange power that I lost the sense of being and became blent with brooding infinity. And who has not read other books wherein the intense vision of the writer so worked upon his thoughts that it evoked an ancient, vanished civilization before his astonished gaze? The student who finds himself more stirred by great literature should take a book, or some passages from a book, which makes a deep appeal to him, which seems to bring with it a breath of inspiration, which has unfailingly exalted effect upon him, and which comes almost with the force of a message from higher regions. If he cares for great poetry and can feel its power, he may find this inspiration in some haunting poem by Francis Thompson, in a sonnet by Shelley, or a lyric by Keats, and in some of those shining verses by my gifted Irish friend, A.E. George W. Russell. Footnote: The Oxford Book of English Mystical Verse, published by Oxford University Press, contains several poems of this kind. If he prefers prose, then there are some delightful essayists to serve him, writers who raise the divine spark of creative art and set fire to the tinder of man's imagination. Emerson's essay on self-reliance, for example, holds at the least 100 quotable sentences. He is one of the most original and most perceptive thinkers among the moderns. His pithy thoughts fall like nuggets of gold from his pen. Spend an hour with him, and you are received into the company of a great. Enter into his high mood, and you enter into an atmosphere reminiscent of the Upanishads, the Tripitakas, the New Testament, and the Platonic books. You breathe truth from every beginning. He quibbles no argument and faces every thought. He wants the raw truth about the matter and nothing less. His Palladian pages are inspiring to the last syllable. If the student can give his sympathy to ancient scriptures, he will find in the sublime sayings of Christ, in the illuminating dialogues of Buddha, and in the translation of the Hindu Bhagavad Gita, or Lord's Song, sources of profound help. Let him select a paragraph or fragment from these or any ancient or modern book which makes most appeal to him and ruminate mentally over it, reverently trying to suck out its meaning, as it were, trying to enter into the spiritual rhythm or mental wavelength which brought it to birth. Let him do this with the utmost slowness, with the utmost absorption that he can muster, holding the heart as well as the mind to the chosen passage, while the words vibrate in his soul. Do not read the words alone, read the thoughts behind them also. Concentrate as you read. Read slowly by letting each word sink into your consciousness, and as it sinks, let its meaning pass into your mind also. Repeat each word mentally in such a way that you actually become the author, the creator, as it were. You yourself construct the sentences and form the paragraphs. This is creative and constructive reading. It brings grist to the mill of your mind and food for the brain. Such reading literally engraves itself on your thoughts. You have set your own minds to work to think along the lines and tracks indicated by the author. The basic thing is to concentrate upon some abstract idea, some phrase or verse that the student is able to experience within his mind in a powerful way, that echoes deeply within the chambers of his soul. He must choose such passages that have this effect upon him. Even though other persons might find only words in them, he must feel the presence of an element of inspiration quite apart from the literary value of the piece or poem. There are certain paragraphs which stand up like peaks in such books. They are the passages wherein the author has written wiser than he knew, written, I should say, under the inspiration of his spiritual self. These enchanted and enchanting hours, when you are caught in the mood of exalted calm or emotional wonderment by a piece of writing which overwhelms you, which is spirit made words, must be watched and caught at their profoundest moments. You must not dissipate these fine feelings, but rather treasure them as being of the utmost value. You must not hurry away quickly to the next impression. You should hold your attention in this mood. This is the high and serene moment when the book can be laid aside, for it has done its work. Pause and prepare to pass through the beautiful gate of symbol into the starry world beyond. But if this gate is closed to you and its fastenings too cunning for your eyes, despair not. Rest a while and pray. Perchance the hidden guardian of this threshold will come forth and his simply fashioned key and unlock the shadowy entrance for you. Pause at this mysterious moment and begin to practice the exercise in placid breathing, and then follow the instructions given upon the awakening to intuition. The student can also penetrate into this element by other paths. He must choose the medium whose power he feels most. It is not essential, therefore, to take a book, since our aim is but to evoke a high mood, to free the mind for a while of all personal affairs, and to abstract it from the usual run of worldly activities. He might get equal results by listening to music composed by a true genius. One personality will arrive at this inner mood through a book, another through music, and so on. The essential thing is to profit by the exalted mood in the manner indicated in the foregoing paragraph.